Gilbert Arenas had a pretty interesting suggestion when it came to how to fix the league's defensive problems, right? So y'all know Gilbert Arenas, Agent Zero, Mr. Ibachi himself, DC legend, which averaged up to 29 points per game. Now retired and a sports media star, is obviously a part of the Gilbert's Arenas show, which is a hit show, and he's the third member of Nightcap with Shannon Sharp, which is one of the biggest look that you can have out there on sports media. So he's definitely killing it. Shout out to Gil. I rock with Gil overall, but he's known for several wacky takes. Especially against MJ, old generation players, and European players. He admitted previously that occasionally he would troll just for entertainment, and that he would get the people talking, he would get the clicks, etc. And he just likes to stir off a reaction. So I respect him for coming out and saying that he trolls sometimes. And he definitely, sometimes I can tell when he's trolling, but on this take, what's really, really bad is that I'm pretty sure it was dead serious. So let's take a listen to what Gilbert Arenas suggested in order to fix the NBA scoring problems, and then we're going to come back and react to it. But before I play the clip, please like the video and subscribe to the channel.
What they can do, get rid of all the Europeans. What? You just said it. You just said it. You go to college to learn defense.
Yeah.
What college do Europeans go to?
I'm with you. No, I just
Right?
get
They
rid
don't
of
go
them
to college
together.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
They have no athleticism.
Give some
They
come
have
over.
no athleticism.
They all come over.
Hold on.
together.
They have no athleticism, right? They have no speed, no jumping ability. They are a liability on defense. There's 150 Euros in the league today. Name the top 10 defenders.
Yeah,
None.
I'm with
right? Just the Rudy Gobert and Greek the Freak. Other than that, they're just offensive players. They're not defensive players, right? So the NBA took away aggression. They took away aggression to open up the Euro League. When they first started getting here, it was too rough for them.
And they didn't make it.
They didn't make it. Right? So eventually, they softened the rules. They didn't soften the rules for the Americans. They softened the rules to open it up international.
Yeah.
So when they're saying the Euros is going to run the league in the next 5 years, why do you think that? More threes, passing, cutting. This is not our league. This is not the American style. This is the Euro style. So, drive in, suck the defense in, pass the ball to the three-point line. It's the three-point shooting league because they're copying Euro style. Suns, right? What was the biggest thing the Suns didn't do? Defense. Ole, let's go. Boom, let's go.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
7 seconds. 7 seconds.
Now everybody.
So you heard the man, and I think this might be his worst take yet, and that's saying a lot. You know what this reminded me of? Not to sound political or whatever. You know, like all these guys who like to, there's inflation going on, there's wars going on, there's unemployment going on, all that stuff. But they'd rather just complain about immigrants. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, man, if all these immigrants would just go home, my life would be better. This is what that take sounds like to me. This is crazy. I don't know why Gilbert Arenas keeps disrespecting foreigners like that, but this one is just ridiculous. He said the game, first off, was softened to help European players because they couldn't make it. But back then, who was the European player that justified a rule change? There was no such thing as a European superstar until probably Dirk. And by Dirk's time, the league had already implemented flagrant fouls, and they started really calling fouls, stopping the bullshit, all the fights, because first of all, the game was too low scoring. The league didn't think that it was a good look for players to act like thugs. This is pretty much what the league felt like. I think it was entertaining, but the league didn't feel like it was a good product to put out there. And let's face it, Michael Jordan was the superstar. Michael Jordan was one of the first players to really be a high flyer and to check all the boxes when it came to entertaining. But he was messing with the league so much, killing everyone, that the defenses had no choice but to just slam him every time he would come to the rim. It is documented. So it was fucking the money up. So the league had to change the rules because they wanted Michael Jordan to be able to literally fly. That's Air Jordan. This is why they switched the rule. They didn't change the rule for no I don't know, Tony Kukoc or something. That's ridiculous. And then more European players came in and started to dominate. But this has nothing to do with the rule changes. The rule changes mostly are on offense. Now they start to allow travels. They start to allow all that dumb stuff on offense. And are the European players, other than maybe Giannis that's traveling a lot, the ones taking advantage of that? I don't think so. I see James Harden taking advantage more of those rules than any other players. Trae Young's, and I can keep going. So this has nothing to do with that. And on the defensive end, yeah, this is just a stretch. Even if you look at the current defenses right now, if you look at the top 5 worst teams in the NBA when it comes to opponent points per game allowed, you have the Wizards, you have the Pistons, you have the Jazz, you have the Hawks, and the Pacers. So how many European players get consistent minutes on those squads, huh? So if you look at the Hawks, you have Clint Capella, who's the Hawks' top defender. You have Evan Fournier that's on the Pistons. He's only getting 17 minutes per game, but we're going to still count him. On the Jazz, you have Lauri Markkanen, who's not a great defender. And then on the Pacers, you have David Avdija. Sorry, not on the Pacers. He's on the Wizards also. He's on the Wizards. So would those teams be better defensively? With the Euros, would all of a sudden these teams stop giving up 125 points per game? Absolutely not. Let's just stop the nonsense. And other than that, on these rosters, it's just European players. They're saying that, yeah, it's 150 European players in the league right now. That is a fact. That is a lot. But how many of them are out there playing like that? Not that much. It's it's American players that's out there just giving up buckets and focusing on offenses. The reason why defenses suck nowadays is because, first of all, the new coaches emphasize pace and offense with a bunch of threes. So it's a lot of transition. You can't really set your defense, and it's harder to defend. The referees also do not allow defenses to apply any physicality, and they let the offensive players get away with a lot of traveling, foul baiting, and all that stuff. The defender is always the one penalized. So obviously, that's going to lead to more scoring. There's way more spacing than before, so it's way harder to guard one-on-one. Now, all the defenses, for whatever reason, they felt like the best way to guard is just to switch regardless of the matchup. So the smartest players out there, they know that they can just hunt mismatches, and there's at least one guy on the court that can guard them, and they always have the advantage offensively. There's also a bunch of teams now who starts 5 shooters. So obviously, it's way harder to keep the scoring down if everyone can shoot. You can't give up anything. There's also a lot of coaches that think it's a good idea to go out there with centers that's 6'8" or 6'9", so there's no paint protection, there's no rebounding ability. So obviously these guys get cooked. There's someone who can put pressure on the rim, and I can keep going. And the last but not least, players nowadays just don't take as much pride as embracing defensive challenge as they once did. You want to know how I can say that? If you look at the All-Star game, for example, back in the days, these guys would at least be able to play some defense, especially when it came to fourth quarter. And now, look at the last All-Star games that we've witnessed. It's just ridiculous, right? So before you fix all of that, don't target European players. Like, is Trae Young a European player? No. Is Jordan Poole a European player? No. Is Damian Lillard a European player? And I can keep going, right? And before we get out of here, I just have one last statement to make, is that, that European style is to not play defense, and that this is pretty much their mark. It's just flat out ignorant. If you watch a single EuroLeague game, you will see that all players on the floor know how to guard a screen, take pride into guarding. If not, they'll be yanked. It doesn't matter who it is. There's no defensive liability on the court. There's no just let me switch everything and just get cooked because I can't guard the mismatch. And yeah, like, they play defense. They just do. If you look at the scoring averages, I know they're playing fewer minutes, but still. Like, a game that reaches 85, 90 points in EuroLeague is insane. That's very rare. In the NBA nowadays, they just go out there and get 110 like it's nothing. You can drop 130 and still lose in the NBA. That just doesn't happen. Another example of the defenses, you saw the way Team USA looked defensively in FIBA compared to some of these other squads. Like, European play defense. So this whole notion that, European players are the reason why the league sucks defensively is ridiculous. And quite frankly, it just sounds very xenophobic of Gilbert Arenas to just target European players every chance he gets to. A lot of disrespect towards European players. When Luka Doncic was called fat, he was very quick to jump on his back and wouldn't have had the same energy for guys like Zion or whatever, Like all the takes about Giannis Antetokounmpo not knowing how to train his body and all that stuff, it's just ridiculous, and it's just because of European players. So again, I rock with Gil overall. I like his show. I think it's cool, but sometimes, man, he just sounds flat out ignorant, and he knows the game way better than some of these takes that he's having, especially lately. They've been getting worse and worse, man. So yeah, stop it, Gil. Anyways, we can close the video right here. It's been your boy. If you made it this far, please like the video, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.